This section is everyone should know this about alcohol, but we peanut. Like, so the link to the video will be the description below. Go and check them out. So let's into this section in 3, 2, 1.
Today I'm going to be talking about something I've never talked about on this channel, and that is the subject of alcohol. You know, the Jaeger bombs, shots,
Yeah.
beers, booze, all of the above. And the reason I haven't talked about it is because, well, for a great period of time, I was under 21, so I didn't really want to talk about it, not even being 21. And also, it's a pretty controversial subject in that there's people who will yell at you on both sides. There's people who are like, never touch alcohol. It's evil. It's the worst thing in the world. And then there are people like,
Really,
it's
yeah.
okay. Have fun. You only live once. There's
YOLO.
always people yelling at you about what to do regarding alcohol. I'm not here to yell at you today. I just kind of want to give my experiences and my opinion on alcohol. So first off, very briefly, my story. In high school, didn't drink a drop of alcohol. I had strict parents combined with the fact that my friends didn't drink. So I just never really drank in high school. But then college came around and I was introduced to it like literally my first week of college. And I was, it's like, you're free. It's like, oh, I can do this now. So I drank and I really liked it because there are a few key benefits of alcohol. One of them being it reduces social anxiety. So if you're someone like me someone like how I used to be early in college, I had social anxiety, so alcohol really helped with that. So that was a major feature of it. Secondly, it makes you a lot more confident. So for a guy looking for, confidence, looking for girls, alcohol really helped with that. And then third, it just makes you a lot more social overall. So there are three pretty enticing benefits to alcohol. I'm not going to be one of those people that says there's no reason to do it at all. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
If you're especially in a position where you're not super social, it can be very helpful. But I drank a lot my first 2 years of college. Like I would say at least once a week, usually twice, sometimes 3 times. And it was often at least like 5 or so drinks. And it didn't affect my life negatively at all in the beginning. And as they say, that's how they get you. Because, I would say in the first year, really, I didn't see many negative pitfalls of it. But my second year, my sophomore year of college is when I really started to realize how bad alcohol was, because I would wake up almost every day and I would just feel like garbage. And I didn't know why. I didn't connect the dots that maybe having like 20 drinks a week would make me feel not as great. And then some certain stuff happened that I'm not going to get into. I made some very bad choices while drunk. I got hit by a car once. But it was only my last 2 years of college, including this senior year, that you only really see how bad alcohol is after you stop drinking it, because a little bit my junior and then a lot my senior year, I really stopped drinking. And I just noticed that it is so much better for me personally, because I wrote down every single con of alcohol, and I'm going to go over them very quickly. So first off, it absolutely ruins your sleep. People will tell you, no, I sleep great when I'm drunk. Yeah, you'll sleep long, but you won't get any of the sleep you need, which is deep sleep and REM sleep. So even if you sleep 10 hours after drinking, you're not refreshed at all because you didn't get actually any of the sleep you need. And, bad sleep, as I've talked about, it leads to a bad mood, low energy, unmotivated, kills your gains in the gym. There's a million cons to bad sleep, and alcohol will pretty much always lead to your sleep being worse. And then as far as in the moment goes, if you've had more than like 3 or 4 drinks, your judgment, your ability to make good decisions, it goes kind of right down the toilet. And that goes for what you're saying to people and the things that you choose to do. So, bad judgment when you drink. And then also, it destroys your dopamine reserves the next day. So dopamine, I've talked about it before on this channel, but basically it has to do with pleasure, but it's also your ability to be motivated during the day. So when you wake up a normal day, you'll have a lot of dopamine. That's what makes you motivated to go out and do stuff. When you drink, part of the reason you're so lazy when you have a hangover is because you got so much dopamine from drinking the last night that it's absolutely destroyed the next day. So whereas maybe your Saturday might have been productive, you do a lot of chores, you hang out with friends, you get some homework done. If you drink and you're hungover the next day, your dopamine's going to be so low, you're going to have a very hard time having motivation to do literally anything. And that's the one that is the main con that was really hitting me, because in college I have fairly a lot of things to do. Like I have the YouTube thing, I lift like 4 or 5 days a week. I have fairly intense amount of schoolwork, and just drinking Fridays and Saturdays, like my weekends, I would get almost nothing done purely because I had no motivation to do so. And that would make me more
Really?
stressed throughout the week. And so I would drink more to, soothe that stress. And it's just a terrible cycle. And, if you look at someone who is productive 7 days a week versus productive 5 days a week, that adds up. That's like 100 extra days a year you're losing if you're drinking twice a week. So the productivity aspect of it was the main reason I stopped drinking. But there are more cons. Let me go through this. It's expensive. If you spend $20 a week on drinks, which, especially if you go to bars, drinks are very expensive.
Yeah.
$20 a week adds up to, I'm not good at math, but like $700 a year. That's a fair amount of money to be losing just to make you less productive, And then there's also the fact that you're not really going to remember a lot of the time of it because when you drink your memory gets a lot worse. And what I found
True.
after drinking and partying for a while in college is it all kind of just starts to blend together, your memories of doing it. Like you don't really have any individualized memories of fun nights. So the only way to get around that is to drink again, so it's new and
Yeah.
it's exciting. And I just found that it's repetitive and you don't actually gain any good memories. Like that's the biggest argument for alcohol is you only live once, have fun and make memories. But what's the point of memories if you don't remember them and they're all very similar? Just drunk, dancing and talking to people. I don't know. Just for me, I don't see much of a benefit of doing it. And then lastly, the one that was also pretty important to me was that it lowers your lifespan. People who drink fairly heavily versus not drinking, that can be the difference of like 10 years off your life. And also, have you ever seen like a 50-year-old who drank through most of their life and then a 50-year-old who didn't? There is a clear difference in like how they look. Like you can tell, like when you're young, that's the problem. When you're like 20 years old, 25, you can't really see the effects of alcohol on your face because you haven't aged enough. But once you start to get like 30, 40, 50 years old, you can tell who drank and who didn't purely because the face is so wrinkled. There's some sort of scientific term for what alcohol
Really?
does to your skin, but it makes it much less appealing over a long period of time if you drink a lot. So again, I'm not here to tell you what to do in life. If you believe in living in the moment, who cares about the future? Like drink, have fun. I know people who do that and they're very happy in life. But I
Yeah.
personally believe if you are trying, you can get much more benefit, much more fulfillment out of things that are not drinking. And one last thing, I found that you can still go out to parties, go out to bars, and have a good time sober. It just takes a little more effort because
Yeah.
you have to go out and kind of practice talking to people. Because again, like I said, I wasn't really a social person, but I've been learning now that if I actually try to be social, I can go out to bars and parties and enjoy myself being sober. Also, the great thing about being sober all the time is, well, there's two great things about being sober when you go to parties and bars is that that you're always under control of yourself. You're not gonna, wake up the next morning having done something terrible. But also, if you want to
Yeah.
leave, you can just drive home. The ability to drive is awesome. So, by not drinking, you're kind of giving yourself a constant, always ability to drive, which is fantastic. So again, I'm not against alcohol entirely. If you're someone who can do like one or two or three drinks when you go out and you have no problem with that, do it 100%. That's fine. But what I find is when people try to stick to one or two or three drinks, they always like give themselves, they're like, I can have one more. Oh, I can have one more. Oh, I can have one more until next thing you know, they've had 10 and then they just, some people struggle with that,
Yeah.
control when it comes to sticking to one, two, or three. So just for me personally, not drinking at all is the easiest, so that's what I choose to do now. But again, if you're cool with doing a little bit, that's fine. But, just do what's best for you at the end of the day. And
Yeah.
that's all I
Do
got for
what
you
best
guys.
for
Let me
you.
know your
Yeah.
thoughts on alcohol. What's your story? What's your opinion? I want to know. So leave that in the comments. So with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Wow. Now, what every wants to know this about alcohol, but repeat that. That's 100% true. People need to know about alcohol. Yeah. I've seen a lot of drunk people. Yeah. The link to the video will be the description below. Go and check them out and drop a like if you like and comment below if you want to see more reaction like this one. And subscribe if you're new and click the bell so you can be notified when I upload in my bye. Wow. drunk people are the worst.